Chris Eubank Jr. has been out in California working with legendary coach Virgil Hunter. It is not yet confirmed or known yet whether Eubank Jr. will be staying with Virgil Hunter long term or whether he's just testing the waters with him. Eubank Jr. hasn't confirmed it. And it's also not been confirmed that Eubank Jr. has split with Nate Diaz, who he was with for the James DeGale fight, whether they'll still be working together or whether he's just moved on from the situation. Now, if he does end up working with Virgil Hunter, it's actually a pairing that I like because Eubank Jr. has the fitness. He has the tenacity. He has the toughness. What he lacks is the technique. Virgil Hunter can give Chris Eubank Jr. the technique, the defensive ability, the footwork, the strategy. Now, I wouldn't personally, just from a selfish fan perspective, I wouldn't personally want to see Chris Eubank Jr. turn into an Andre Ward clone, because as great as Andre Ward was, he wasn't the most entertaining fighter to watch. Chris Eubank Jr.'s selling point, other than his name, is the fact that he's a very entertaining fighter to watch. Whether you love him or loathe him, you're not going to sit there and tell me Eubank Jr. is not entertaining to watch. He's very entertaining. He lets his hands go. He throws big combinations. It's exciting. So, as much as I like the pairing between him and Hunter, and I think Hunter can do a lot for him in terms of technique, in terms of strategy, defense, etc., I wouldn't want Virgil Hunter to take away everything that made Eubank Jr. so exciting. I'd still want to see him let his hands go, unload combinations. I wouldn't want to see him become a purely strategic kind of fighter, because that's really what Andre Ward was. This is not a guy who was really interested in entertaining anybody. It was all about strategy. It was all about, winning the fight. It wasn't about razzmatazz, razzle that. It wasn't about that with Andre Ward. And that's fair enough, because Andre Ward, he was an athletic fighter, but he wasn't a Roy Jones. He wasn't a guy who was so athletically gifted that he could take liberties. Yeah, he had to still be on his job, keep his technique and his wits about him, keep his strategy disciplined, Eubank Jr. has more athleticism, at least in terms of his hand speed. Foot speed, Ward's got very good foot speed. Chris Eubank Jr. tends to drag his feet, so they need to work on that. But in terms of the hand speed, Eubank Jr.'s hand speed is much better than Andre Ward. Virgil Hunter also said that in his preliminary assessment of Eubank Jr., he says there's lots of things to work on, and I'm paraphrasing here, but when it comes to inside fighting, he's pretty good at that already. There are still things we can work on in him on the inside, but he has a good idea of how to handle himself on the inside. That's something that comes fairly natural to him. And we know that Andre Ward was a guy who used to fight very well on the inside. So, Virgil Hunter obviously sees something that he can work with there. And he's working with a tough guy. He's working with a guy who is always in condition. He lives the life. Although Virgil Hunter did say, and this is something I've said many, many times, and this is actually something George Groves said too. Virgil Hunter did say that Chris Eubank Jr. probably trains too much. You have to give your body time to rest and recuperate. You can't just be training all year round with high intensity. You can keep yourself ticking over all year round, but you don't want to be training high intensity all year round. That's going to take it out of you. You need to give your body time to rest and recuperate. And that's something Virgil Hunter says. That's something George Groves said prior to him fighting Eubank. He said, Eubank, he thinks he's got an advantage over everybody else because of the fact that he trains like a madman year round, but actually he's not giving his body time to rest and recuperate. And therefore he's going into fights a bit stale, a bit overtrained sometimes. So Virgil Hunter believes the same as George Groves, and I have to concur with it. I have seen Eubank Jr. sometimes at open workouts and he's forcing his punches. And I'm just thinking, if you had a bit of time off, you'd come back fresh. And again, time off don't mean you're out there eating kebabs and pizzas and partying until 6 a.m. That's not what I'm talking about time off. I'm just talking about time away from the gym where you're still maybe ticking over, exercising a couple times a week, but nothing too intense. Just give your body time to recover. So anyway, we'll see how this one plays out. And another reason why I like Virgil Hunter as a trainer for Chris Eubank Jr. is because of the discipline, because Virgil Hunter very much comes across as a father figure. Now, some people might say, oh, that sounds like disaster waiting to happen because he's already got a father, and some would say an overbearing father figure in Chris Eubank Sr. But, you know, sometimes with father-son situations, the son can feel like the father is overbearing, and that can make the son more rebellious, you know, or not just the father, but the mother too. Children can become rebellious if they feel that their parents are too overbearing. And when they become rebellious, they often don't want to listen to what their parents are telling them. And they often want to prove that they can do things their own way. Maybe this is Chris Eubank Jr.'s way of doing it his own way. Of saying, you know what? I don't want to listen to my dad or these people over here because they've been with me since birth and they're trying to impose themselves on me. But with Virgil Hunter, this is someone who Chris Eubank Jr. has gone out and found himself. So this is like a voluntary. If Chris Eubank Jr. submits himself to the tutelage, to be under the tutelage of Virgil Hunter, that's his own willing choice. It's not being imposed upon him. And therefore, he might be more willing, you know, to be a student under somebody like this, who does have a father figure type personality, who is very regimented and all that kind of stuff. So we'll see what happens here. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below about the possibility of Chris Eubank Jr. being under the wing of Virgil Hunter, being trained by Virgil Hunter. Will he listen to him? I think that there's a stronger chance he listens to Virgil Hunter than there was his dad or even Nate Diaz. So is it Nate Diaz or Nate Vasquez? I forget the guy's name now. Vasquez, excuse me. I've been calling him Nate Diaz. Nate Vasquez. I swear Nate Diaz is a fighter. Nate Vasquez, excuse me, people. Apologies for the mistake there. Nate Vasquez was his trainer, so it's not known whether he's going to split with him or not. But I think Eubank Jr.'s, you know, there's more chance of Eubank Jr. listening to Hunter than there is of Vasquez. Listen to Vasquez. And he listened to Vasquez apparently fairly well, but I just think Virgil Hunter, with his experience, his age, his demeanor, could be somebody that Eubank Jr. actually listens to and respects. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. I'm out. Join me on Patreon. I upload a minimum of 2 podcasts every single week, covering a wide variety of controversial topics, as well as live stream Q&A sessions. Take a look on screen right now at some of the podcasts I've produced so far. For just $3 a month, the equivalent of about £2 a month, you get access to all my new podcasts and my entire back catalogue of past podcasts, including my popular Confessions of a Nightclub Bouncer series. You can listen on your computer or on your smartphone or tablet by downloading the Patreon app from the Google Play Store or the App Store for free. The Patreon app also allows you to download each podcast in MP3. For less than the price of a cup of coffee, you get access to dozens of hours of exclusive content. It's easy to sign up, there's no contract, and you can cancel at any time. So come and join our community of free and critical thinkers by signing up with me here on Patreon today.